we did a run-through of the script on a Wednesday night for an audience, and we were counting on the reaction to tell us what we had, and they didn't like it. They didn't laugh at anything, and we were all devastated. I went home and I cried myself to sleep that night. I said to Grant, they've got to fix it. They've got to fix it. You know, this was my hope, my dream, my life, everything come true. And he went into the other room and he made a phone call to Jim and Alan, who were still in the writer's room. And he said, fix it, and hung up the phone. And you know, they really made only a few minor changes. I don't really know specifically what they were. I think they did. They had little Bess, Cloris's, Phyllis's daughter, like Rhoda. There was an interaction between them that made Rhoda seem acceptable, because it was said by some of the audiences who had filled out cards that they didn't like the fact that Rhoda was mean to Mary. And so they figured out that if a child liked Rhoda, then she wasn't all mean. There was something in her that could be lovable. A few little things like that, and essentially that following Friday we did the very same show, and it went through the roof, as my compatriots are wont to say. It was a huge success. The network tested it. The network put it in one of those electronic rooms with people who press buttons and watch the show and write things on cards. And it tested and still retains this honor as being the lowest ranked television episode ever viewed in the history of CBS. They hated everything. They thought I was a loser. How come I was 30 and still wasn't married? Wasn't Ed Asner's character Jewish? What about Rhoda? Why is she so mean to Mary? You know, all of that stuff. Trying to think if there was something else I can remember, but it just was all, you know, kind of surface instinctive reaction to that which we have been taught to accept as good and real and truthful. But George Bernard Shaw said, custom can inure anyone to an atrocity. Yes, except that I like to think, because it's just so much a part of the tone of the show, that it was never a stand on the soapbox and shout show. It pioneered, but it pioneered without self-consciousness. They put us on in a terrible time period, and there was a changing of the guard at about that time. Bob Wood came in as the president of CBS, and he took very kindly to the show. He loved it, and he was its champion, and he gave us a better time period, which was Saturday night, although traditionally that is not a good night because it's date night and people aren't at home. It's served us very well.